Good afternoon, everyone. Shalom.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Helaman chapter 6, verse 23, talks about the secret combination. Now, in case you didn't know your Book of Mormon, it is exclusive for Mormons who joined Joseph Smith's church. It's not for the Jews, it's not for Christians, it's not for Islam, not for Hindu. It's for Mormons. It is a book of a prediction of the future for Mormons. It is a book of calendar dates and clock times for Mormons about the predictions of the future for Mormons. And so we are warned of two churches in Mormonism. The Church of the Devil and the Church of the Lamb. The Church of the Devil is Christian. It's the Church of Jesus Christ. The Church of the Lamb is Jewish. So the secret combination, with their secret covenants, their secret signs, their secret words in their covenant path with death penalty oaths for blood atonement, is the Church of Jesus Christ, led by the devil, Lucifer, with his inverted pentagrams as the secret signs. The Church of Jesus Christ. Joseph Smith is warning us. Book of Mormon is warning us. The first vision, Joseph Smith says that missionaries of this secret combination are going around lying to people about Joseph Smith's church, calling it the Church of Jesus Christ. Section 84, Section 86, Joseph had to call out these Christian missionaries for putting the church under condemnation, calling them apostates. That in the first vision, that Christianity is all wrong, all abominable, and all corrupt. There is nothing good about what Roman Emperor Constantine created with the first creed, because of what he did to the Jews. And the Church of Jesus Christ, of the Lucifer God, would do the same thing to Joseph Smith, turning the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith's visions into literal histories about Jesus, no longer about the Jewish Christ. This Church of Jesus Christ, the secret combination in Joseph's church: murder, plunder, steal, commit whoredoms, and all manner of wickedness, contrary to the laws of the United States of America and the United States Constitution. Religious freedom. You've already got it. First Amendment. Oh, religious freedom is not for religious freedom then, is it? It's to enforce Mormonism on the rest of mankind. and also contrary to the laws of Jesus, whom they claim to worship. This secret church of Jesus Christ, who we don't want to speculate as to who they could possibly be, is going to cause Armageddon. They that come shall burn them. Joseph added to Malachi in the second vision. So, Joseph Smith was fully attacked and cooed after doing his visionary account that would eventually get published in 1842 in the Times and Seasons, with the name of the church as the Church of the Latter-day Saints, and Nephi instead of Moroni. Nonetheless, the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ made their changes to expose who they are. Thomas B. Marsh was confronted by the secret combination within Joseph Smith's church. They told him they are the Danites, that they have the secret signs, secret words, and a secret blood oath, death penalty covenants of atonement, to obey them over Joseph Smith, over Thomas B. Marsh, who's the president of the Quorum of the 12. They had deceived him into thinking that the church was under attack by the Missourians and denying our religious freedom. And so Thomas B. Marsh goes down to the town of Gallatin, where they said that they are attacking us. And he goes with them and he sees that they're not attacking Mormons. They're a peaceful town. And he watches as these Mormon Danites burn the town down, murder, rape, and steal. And they take the loot to Spring Hill that they said is Adam-on-Diamond. Thomas B. Marsh has no clue about this as a church, but they have a storehouse there. You okay, Whitney? And he doesn't know about it. He's the president of the Quorum of the 12. He's responsible for assigning the missionaries as to where to go to build up churches. Return and report, we've established a church in this town you sent us to. Oh, great, thank you. Let me write it in the Elders' Journal, and I'll return and report to Joseph. Okay, we need you to go to this place now. And he didn't have any clue about Spring Hill, now called Adam-on-Diamond. Yes, these Danites, 40 years later, would write in a journal that they published with older material to expose that their ink was 40 years later. And exposes the forged documents of Brigham Young, the leader of the Danites. Section 115, forged document. Ooh, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, huh? Section 116, forged document. Ooh, Spring Hill is Adam on Diamond. Section 117, forged document. Ooh, Noel K. Whitney, come and be a bishop in Adam on Diamond. Stay away from those Nicolaitan band of Revelation chapter 2. Section 118, forged document. Section 119, forged document. Oh, tithing, priestcraft, worthiness for Zion and the celestial kingdom. And then the two on baptisms for the dead, because they turned it into literal histories, and they have a plot for Armageddon latter days of a burning mass extermination event. In the United States of America, even Joseph Smith in section 134, 132 also is a forged document, by the way, in case you didn't know. Polygamy. Section 134, Joseph Smith tells Mormons that religion is not to form a seditious conspiracy coup against the government using the religion card. The First Amendment is to protect religions, but not to allow religions to overthrow the government. Separation of church and state. Religion cannot impose themselves on other people. And the religion can only enforce itself upon its members for fellowship. So that if members don't follow the religion, they can only be booted out of the religion. They cannot be physically put to rights what they deem is not right. But that's what the Danites said 40 years later in their forged document. That's what the Danites do. It's all in the Joseph Smith papers. We know them now. I've already told you who they were. But just recently, I found the document. I'd actually found it previously, been using it for you, about section 116. And so it wasn't until I went back, because I wanted to link Stanford to it, that I went, oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. That's why the affidavit of Thomas B. Marsh resulted in the governor of Missouri ordering the extermination order. He is justified in that, because the Danites were forming a seditious conspiracy coup of Missouri. The penalty in the Constitution is death. Thus the extermination order. Missouri was under attack by the Danites. And that was a test run for what they wanted to do in the latter days. Election tampering. Judge and sheriff, I hope you can find 3,000 votes, which was dismissed yesterday. What? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. OAKS got leaked in 2020, saying that he was going to run a test run for Armageddon's second coming, burning Jesus. So what happened? That was part of that test run. I hope you can find 3,000 votes. Do me a favor, though. That was part of the test run. And that was exactly what the Danites did in 1838. Creeping death. Danites used poisoning. That was their favorite. The Epstein files. Yeah, Brigham Young had his Epstein files. January 1846. Framing and blaming Joseph. January 1846. After Joseph is dead. There's a whole book on it. And you believed Brigham Young's girls who were doing journals. They lie. They are incapable of telling the truth. They are still involved in a conspiracy, sedition to take over the United States of America and ultimately the world. And the punishment for their crimes is death. So yes, they project with their false accusations, enforcing priestcraft with death. They're the ones who need the punishment. And next year is Purim. God, bleeping long little days. Test runs. 200 years of test runs. And here we are, and you still run test runs. And thus we have to wait for Armageddon because you're still running test runs. They turned Trump into a puppet, by the way. You didn't actually think he was Mormon, did you? Yeah, Mormons are sexual deviants. Criminals, yeah, he fits right in. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not obey the laws of the land, does not obey the Constitution, and they definitely don't obey Jesus. They can't even read the scriptures correctly. They're illiterate, apparently. Go over that list with you. Find it. Yeah. Yoke yourself to Jesus. Trust in the Lord. Think celestial. Keep the covenant path. Chief cornerstone of the cornerstone. Let God prevail. Oh, dear God. Healing power of gratitude. And that was only what I wrote down. It's like they're illiterate. And section 120 and section 42 about who's in charge of tithing. They claim the 12 apostles. It says right there in the text. It's scriptural. Have you read it? It's the High Council. Section 102 tells you the difference between the High Council and the Quorum of the 12. They're separate quorums. The High Council is not the Quorum of the 12. The Quorum of the 12 is not the High Council. And yet, both Oakes and Anderson that I've caught so far came up at the pulpit of conference and said, oh, it says 12 apostles. We can touch tithing. We can do whatever we want with it. Section 119. So true. Talk to our lawyers. We fund lots of terrorism. So yeah, even though I was expecting, but told you that if news came up, I'd be doing a news video for you. Here we are, doing a news video for you, rather than an Oaks video flashback. Mormons are the enemy of all mankind. They are guilty of the death penalty because they're forming a coup. Evangelicals, you think you're taking over America? No, it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who are pulling your puppet strings. You're doing the will of Mormon Jesus. You thought it was evangelical Jesus, didn't you? Yeah. You murdered Charlie Kirk thinking, oh, we're going to get our kingdom for Jesus in America. Nope. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who are your lords and masters. You murdered him for nothing. Who's the baby daddy, Erica? Who's the baby daddy? When they comforted you about having to murder Charlie. Who's the baby daddy? Everybody wants to know, because they ain't buying it. They see how you're overly hugging men now. So yes, Tyler Robinson didn't do it, in case you hadn't seen the kill shot video like all the rest of the world has. Came from the wrong direction. Oh no, Travis, it's a magic bullet, just like the Mormons when they assassinated, the Patsy, John F. Kennedy. He was communist. And so communists murdered him. Because communists are the enemy. Wait, what? I'm not buying it. These things have precedence for what's been going on in the news, and that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. There is a mass extermination coming. They're just running test runs right now. Still. And so we're witnessing what is happening to test run for mass exterminations. The second coming of Trump, he chose to do mass deportations, kicking out illegals. And everybody is playing dumb on what Trump means by illegal. If you're LGBTQ, illegal. If you're Democrat, you're illegal. If you're poor, you're illegal. If you're black, illegal. If you're Islam or some other religion other than evangelical, and Ivanka's Jewish, you're illegal. Not to be confused with the rest of the Jews, just Ivanka. And because Jared is buddies with Netanyahu, so Israel currently. But the rest of us are illegal. Did I say blacks and those who are colored? Illegal. Those from a foreign country who is not white rich? Illegal. It just horrifies me that the press forgot that they used to report this in the first term. And so yes, even Utah plays dumb. They're locking up people who are not illegal. It's because they are illegal, according to Trump's definition. They're all Antifa. Even if they are fascist, they're not Trump fascist. So they're illegal. They're Antifa. You need to know that Trump redefines words. You need to know his definitions. So Section 119, Trump was supposed to send in the National Guard, the military, into Utah to deport everybody. You're Mormon. You're not evangelical. Get the hell out of America. But we're the Danites. Who? It's a secret. Trump doesn't know. He doesn't know his Lord and Master. They use other secret combinations to do their will. The Council for National Policy. The church has Mark Skousen now. His daddy was a part of the founding of it. They put the church's will in all of their operations, test runs. Steve Bannon was a part of it. Kellyanne Conway, who's now a news anchor for Fox. I saw it last night. Oh, she's now an anchor, is she? They are part of this secret combination, this coup of the government. And they've done their part over the years when required. There are others. The Heritage Foundation. The ones who recommend judges for Trump. The one who connected Trump with billionaires. He's in there. Russians are in there. Yeah, they have Jews who are betrayer Judases. They have Islamists. They have evangelicals. They have the lawyers who was there for Trump's congressional hearings of impeachment. They were in there too. They all made their appearance when required to coup America. Project 2025. Yep. Linked to the Council for National Policy. And thus everything Trump has been overly doing this year is part of Project 2025. But Trump said he wasn't a part of Project 2025. And we believed him. Even though we knew his first term. We just forgot. They were going to hang Mitt Romney. He was going to be the sacrificial Mormon because he lost to Obama. That was part of the test run. If Mitt Romney could win the presidency, it would be a whole different scenario. It would have been Mitt Romney assassinated because he would have gotten his second term in 2016. So that 2020 would have been the actual date, and they would have assassinated Mitt Romney. So that the new president, which could have been Trump, for 2020 would not have been put in, and he too would have been assassinated, or he would have been Jacob, 3 Nephi chapter 7. With a whole different scenario. Whole different scenario. But yeah, that's why Joseph Smith, while running for president, the Danites under Brigham Young created the Council of 50, the secret government, when Joseph Smith gets elected as president. But hey, Carthage happened. Cool, we got rid of him earlier. So then they had to go to Plan B, which was the assassination of Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War of the other branch off of these Danites, of the main branch off, who were the Confederates. You know, the cross-burning flag of the Illuminati, Lucifer. We know it's coming. So, Trump is escalating wars. Venezuela. You didn't follow that, did you? The news forgot, and it was just earlier this year. CBS does How Did We Get Here? But it's only for the last month time period. You know, they aren't going back to its origins. When Trump denied Islam from coming into America this year, everybody forgot of his Islamic ban, travel ban for Islam in his first term that he was denied. You can't do a travel ban targeting a religion. But they're not a religion, they're terrorists. Trump should have labeled it that way. He didn't. So the court said you can't do it for a religion, but they're terrorists. So guess what he did for Venezuela this year? Ooh, we have Venezuelan drug terrorists in America. We need to deport them. They're not part of this gang. Why are you deporting them? We are under attack. And so then Antifa became the label instead of illegal. And now he's going after Venezuela for the new president that got code. The old president got code. Now he's going to prison for 27 years. So our whole fleet is going down there. And he's now called out the new president of Venezuela as the drug lord terrorist, so that he doesn't need congressional approval to declare war. It's a war on drugs and terrorism. Remember the Bush boys? Poppy, which doesn't refer to daddy. And Junior. I'm the decider, Dad. Oh, he had a 9/11 event. Huh. From people from Saudi Arabia through the UAE. Yeah, that's right. There were Saudi Arabians who got a ride from the UAE to America, where they had already been trained at the airport in Florida. Yep. Now we have AI in our planes. I'm sure that'll go over well. Projected algorithms. Telling the pilots how to fly. Or forcing them to fly. And Die Hard 2, we saw the consequences of AI in airplanes, as they were able to use computer technology to bypass the tower and tell the pilot, yeah, you're looking great, doing great, keep on the heading we sent to you at the altitude that we have you believe you're at. That's AI. Little did Die Hard 2 know. Little did Die Hard 2 know. And here we are at Christmas time. Ode to Die Hard. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. It's Christmas time. It's the time for miracles. It's the most wonderful time to watch Die Hard. The greatest Christmas movie ever and all eternity. We miss you, Bruce Willis. Yesterday I was cyber attacked in the exact manner that I described in the video. A YouTube Mormon employee down in Utah County took over his shift at 9 p.m. He had previously watched my video, and so he responded in kind. He is a Danite. He doesn't give a damn about the Church of Jesus Christ. He's a Mormon, whether right or wrong, just like the Danites. He doesn't care about following the laws of the land. He's a Danite. He is upset that I exposed him. He's crying as a sensitive snowflake because he's a Danite. He projects. AI is replacing humans. It's been doing this since it was forced into all businesses. A couple years ago, even. When two little girls were fired for failing to keep me hostage at Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking. And so because of that failure, the church had Utah government go to the next plan to indefinitely incarcerate me after all their test run failures since 2000, it's even before 2008. They've been attacking me for a long time, and they keep failing. But yeah, the new homeless center has been exposed nationally as a concentration camp to indefinitely incarcerate without their will. And it's already too small. But it's going to take too long now to build in time if the test run is eventually going to be over soon. Nonetheless, we still have Gail Miller's concentration camps. run it temporarily until it's completed. Just in time for the temple to be completed, too. Which was supposed to be finished for April Conference 2024. Yeah, the company you hired, which was a brother of somebody important, screwed you over for money. What a shock. What a shock. And so AI is replacing humans, replacing jobs. Jobs report is kind of confusing. Lots of new jobs have been made, and yet unemployment is way low or way high, whatever. And they can't figure out that AI is taking the jobs and the humans are getting unemployed. Wanting to go to Greenland, it's supposed to be the 53rd state, behind Canada and Gaza. But if AI were to continue to run, as it will, but there's no mass extermination event, you're going to have a whole millions of Americans unemployed, as Trump is not successfully deporting them by the millions, only the hundreds of thousands. He's way behind. What is going to happen? Anybody see Les Miserables? Or at least the South Park version of the war against Canada. You have a civil uprising. People are starving to death. Americans are too privileged to just roll over and die, aren't they? Chicagoans, they're fighting back. North Carolinians, isn't it? They're fighting back. Los Angelinos fought back. San Franciscoans, oh, don't you even dare think of coming in here. My birthplace. You know, mess with Texas or San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York. But it has begun already. The Macy's Day Parade, an American tradition for Thanksgiving. 3.5 million people. Perfect target for a mass extermination event. I hope not. I hope they fail again. Hunter Biden was also in the news yesterday. He does a podcast with some other guy, and he's talking about a mass extermination event with AI. But it's a different kind of mass extermination. He uses McDonald's as his example. There was a franchise owner of a McDonald's that had 55 people hired, that he, using AI now, only needs 5 people, which means 50 people got fired from McDonald's. And they're just flipping burgers, and they're fired as burger flippers, replaced by AI. And so that has an effect on the economy. Amazon has replaced human employees. There's a news report about all the elves of AI Amazon. They're just like Santa's elves. Yeah, but they're not human. Neither are the elves. Tim, the Toolman Taylor, whatever his name is, he does the Santa Claus. Gotta keep your covenant path, you gotta get married. It's the fine print, Santa. You murdered Santa, so you take on the mantle of title. No gifts and powers, though. Until you keep your temple covenant path. You've got to find a woman and prostitute her to be worthy. I really did like that movie, though. I did really like Mrs. Claus. Sarah reminds me of her. Is she Aries? It's already begun. AI is replacing jobs. People are going unemployed. People are going without food. Trump tried to starve Americans. Millions of Americans were being starved by Trump. Remember, he's a puppet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He's trying to trigger a civil war. He's trying to trigger world wars. He's trying to trigger Armageddon without being the bad guy of history, but to be the victim. It's not working well, Trump. You might as well just do it and get it over with. Exactly like the Danites, who claim to be victims and have been rewriting history to show they were the victims. Our religious freedom. Bunch of little babies. Can't even assassinate me, let alone cause Armageddon correctly. God, you guys suck. Trying to prove the Book of Mormon false by failure. You've already proven it true by who you are. So Hunter is talking about a mass extermination, but he's thinking in terms of Les Miserables. People starved to death. Hunter assumes that people are just going to roll over and die. He's rich. What does he know? Go back to your cocaine laptop with dick pics, which was used to compromise Daddy while president after the test run. Exactly. Biden was a puppet too by this Council for National Policy. Run and organized secretly, shh, don't tell them, by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mark Skousen, he's the Judas. Get him. And so what Hunter is clueless on, but I catch, is what they're planning. AI was supposed to be timed for the mass extermination, so that AI would continue to run and operate things after the mass extermination. But the mass extermination hasn't happened yet. AI is still going on, and mass firings, replacing of humans, taking over everything. So they're pushing for a civil war of people who are starving, who don't have jobs and can't pay for a life. That is the backup, in case the mass extermination event doesn't happen. And then Trump can claim to be the victim and then send in the troops to exterminate the innocent Americans who just want to survive. So, anybody catch on to the news about DC in the beginning? Trump ordered the National Guard to DC. They're terrorists. An aide got beat up. Terrorists. We need to protect DC from the terrorists who are trying to coup America. Hosea 29 about an unrighteous king. Book of Mormon knew. How did it know? It's so true. Right, Mormons? And so the courts came out not too long ago and said, sorry, Trump, they got to go home. It's illegal. Unconstitutional. Send them home. Should we open up our gifts or send them back? Send them back. Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking across the street with ice protection. You can say there's no such thing as ice, but as for me and Grandpa, it's the church. The missing lyrics, the missing stanza, verse, whatever it's called, removed from the song. It's Christmas. It's the time for jokes. And so, last night to yesterday, could have been last night, it's 2 hours ahead of Utah, just as the parade got started at 6:30 here in Utah time, 8:30 in New York, Manhattan time. There was a shooting. 2 National Guardsmen shot in DC. Trump ordered Hegseth to send in more troops to DC. I'm sure it's legitimate. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. It couldn't possibly be a red flag event. Trump was actually shot. His ear was blown off. We saw the blood. We saw the blood. It's gone. Ear is gone. Just like Peter chopping off the ice. Who's coming to get Jesus? It's not a WWE blood pack. No! That Mormon boy who Travis can't figure out which church news article it was from, he did it! Just like Tyler Robinson did it. From the wrong building, he did it. Without a weapon, he did it. He's a trans Antifa terrorist furry. Communist. He did it. Cox wouldn't cover up the real assassin and let him go. Cox said he got him. He's a direct descendant of Danite. Oops. 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 Cox, Lee, Stewart, Curtis, Mendenhall, Oakes, and others. Danites. Those specifically were there in 1838. 1838. Yeah. He is an Afghani nationalist. So it must be true, right? You're not paying attention to the news, are ya? See, Trump, he doesn't give a damn. He doesn't care if the plot doesn't make sense. Wait a minute. What is he doing now? How did he get there? I saw The Americans. It's in the final season where they go to Chicago, claim they were in Houston, and they're trying to rescue one of their operatives. And the woman who's driving the getaway van, she is shot. So the bullets penetrate the glass of the van and she gets hit. And so she's out of commission. And so Philip, I think, is the one who takes over the wheel to get to the garage location where they then hack up her body. And you see it pull in to the parking spot, but you don't see the bullets through the glass. It's a brand new glass window. I'm going, hey, this isn't real. That was a director error. director should have caught that, and he didn't. Or she didn't, whoever the director was. Because you're supposed to keep the storyline going. The van had been shot, you need to keep the bullet holes in the glass. And they didn't. Under Biden, he got us out of Afghanistan. Never mind that Stephen Miller during the first term had sabotaged Biden in advance to prevent America from getting out of Afghanistan unless punishments would incur. And so Biden is being blamed for the failures of the evacuation of Afghanistan because of what Stephen Miller pulled in advance. And so after we left, the Taliban immediately came in, and sure enough, women were suppressed, oppressed, and abused. Denied education, forced to wear the hijab, and back to being barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen in their harems, just like Mormon girls are supposed to be. But Mormons only get 10 child bride virgins in their holy war. Islam gets 72. Hey kids, your daddy's gonna have you suffer and die so that he can get 72 child bride virgins. It could be you, dear. Allah prevails. And we'll blame Israel for it. We're the victims. Hey, I notice a pattern match. And yes, the Danites did fund the Islamic terrorist attack against Israel too. But Afghanistan is grateful for America leaving, and they took over authority again. And so, over the course of the years since, the news has been reporting that the Taliban was abusing the Pakistanis who were in Afghanistan, causing a mass deportation from Afghanistan. And violence ensued. And so Pakistan and Afghanistan had been warring with each other. So when October 7th happened, they didn't give a damn. They were fighting each other. And so Trump did not go back into Afghanistan. So Afghanistan has no reason to hate America at the moment. We left under Biden. Trump isn't Biden. Trump blames Biden. So why should Afghanistan give a damn about Trump? They don't. And yet this Afghani shooting up the National Guard. Ooh, Trump! If he's really concerned, shouldn't he be over in Afghanistan fighting against the Pakistani? Or at least trying to convince Americans to fund the Taliban against the Pakistani? They did it for Gaza. You're not seeing the problem? Remember Patsy? Remember Tyler Robinson? Remember the Pennsylvania mass shooter of Trump's ear? They were all supporters of the president. They were not against the president. These dumbass Mormons are stupid and mentally retarded. I mean, awesome now. It's now called awesome. It's not called special anymore. It's now awesome. They're transitioning the definitional word to awesome. If you're mentally retarded, you're now awesome. They've got t-shirts. Seriously, they play other people for stupid. During Kennedy's assassination, nobody believed the lone gunman magic bullet. Don't pull that on America. We don't believe you, Mormons in the CIA. Poppy, there at the corner, in that photo taken from Watergate. Yeah, they're all leaked. We all know now. It was a CIA cover-up. They lied. What are you doing in America? CIA is not allowed in America. Yep. Poppy Bush. Puppet for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Yep. So yeah, I'm not buying it. I mean, yeah, may have been shot, maybe. We'd have to check to see if they're miraculously healed. If anybody died, if they rise from the grave. They're found at an Atlantic City gambling casino after the mass shooting over the intercom in Las Vegas. On the altar before the Temple of Egypt. God. Well, covered up the news that Hales died. Those crisis actors even had funerals. I saw the live video feed. There's no heads getting blown off. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, granted, it was billions of miles away when everybody had the cell phones right there. But I saw those too. And the news was in on it. Yeah, I saw my buddy, his chest, oh, the big gaping hole. It was horrifying. Hey, we found your buddy, he's in the hospital, let's reunite you with him. We'll cover it for the news. Oh, cool. Hey, buddy. Hi, crisis actor partner. I'm doing okay. It hurts. He is lying on the bed. Just exposed. And there's a big gauze pad over his chest to cover up the massive hole in his chest. And it's pure white. And it's not strapped down. And yet, the news helps push that anybody who says that it's not real are conspirators. You're crazy. Oh, God. So yeah, just like with Trump's ear. Oh, it was real. And there's still, yeah, we found out he too is involved in furries, just like Tyler. He's a communist, just like Tyler. We're seeing a pattern. Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. We're waiting for an extermination event. Trump also, by the way, started his new Genesis AI program. Still going on it. Still going on it. So, remember how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is overthrowing America and the world? You forget already? In the news yesterday, there was a military coup of Guinea-Bissau. So I checked. Oh, look at that. April 2025. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A first district created in the Republic of Guinea. Right next door. Wherever they go, whatever they say, it's always a conspiracy to murder you and coup the government. What song is that? Wherever I go, wherever you go. Grandma's Day song, I guess. Yeah, Hong Kong, dear God. A massive apartment fire. And if you see the apartment building, it's a complex of apartments joined together into one apartment building. It's not just a high-rise. It's high-rises combined together in a Borg cube. And yeah, people are saying there were no fire alarms going off. So that's also concerning. Was that done intentionally by China to mass exterminate their people? Since America can't get it going right. But the mass extermination didn't really happen, per se. I mean, yeah, 44, 40, 50, whatever the number is lately. There are hundreds missing, so the number is going to go up. But it's nowhere near 9/11-3000. It's nowhere near a 3.5 million if it were Macy's Day Parade. But nonetheless, this was sad. A day that shall burn as an oven, and they that come shall burn them. So with the fire alarms not going off, it was human caused, whether accidentally or on purpose. Man, that is massive. So, if you've heard about me talking about Zion, how I've already got it designed, already know how it will be built, and you've heard that it will be a ziggurat pyramid of titanium, it would never have this happen. Because that's what came to mind. My Zion design, this would never have happened. It is specifically designed that when a fire breaks out in a home in Zion, that it is contained to that home. It would never affect the rest of the city that is combined together in a ziggurat pyramid, like the Aztecs. Not like the Mesopotamians who did it out of clay, you dumbasses. Temple of Marduk, oh my hell. What were your architects thinking? Stone, you dummies. The Egyptians had it right. They already learned from their failed mastabas. They already knew not to do pyramids of clay. They built them with stone. So, yeah. I am kind of wondering if these extensions for Armageddon keep running tests for years. I will be too old, and I may die. It'll be the whole new batch of 12 apostles that we don't even know yet. All of the current apostles are dead and gone. So the whole new batch is in. And so yes, I would die. So what do? I'm the only one with this knowledge. And Plato said, if you have knowledge, you need to share it. You have a duty and a responsibility to share it with others. First rule of leadership is train your replacement. They were supposed to have Armageddon already. We're already supposed to be in Zion. That's what the frustration is with their failures. And so I may have to do videos about designing Zion, building Zion, running and operating Zion in greater detail, so that when I die, the knowledge will be available, and hopefully somebody will have obtained it, that when they finally get around to having Jesus come and destroy everybody with his burning powers, then mankind can continue on afterward. So, Oaks, you'd be the one to ask, since you're obviously not gonna call it quits, being busted by D. Todd. The healing power of the blood atonement. It's the only way to go to the celestial kingdom, D. Todd. Ballard did it. Monson even did it. So, stay tuned. I told my audience who follows me yesterday, and thus nobody watched, except for the Strengthening Church Members Committee, who are forced to work over Thanksgiving. Thanks a lot, Travis. Is that why I got cyber attacked? Bleep you, you terrorists. So, stay tuned. In Utah, the psychologists for the Department of Health and Human Services forced the courts to again reevaluate whether Menzies is competent to die for his crimes. And they said no, he needs to be under our care at the hospital under the Department of Health and Human Services. He died. They killed him. Psychologist murdered him rather than having it done through the legal process of the law. He should have been executed by now. Psychologist convinced his defense counsel to have him found not competent because he's old. He can't die. We already ban assisted suicides in America, Dr. Kevorkian. And so the psychologist murdered him. I've told the story of when I was incarcerated for 6 years because the church was upset that I'm a translator and they're not, and I filed a petition for a redress of grievances. Of how I witnessed assassinations in that black site. And he was a returned missionary. He murdered his wife. And he got caught. So thus he was put in the black site. If he didn't get caught, he'd be a member of the 70 by now. But yeah, he murdered his cellmate because the cellmate was snoring. And so I, as tribute, took over his job because they weren't wanting to give me religious books as required. I don't exist. You don't get rights, Travis. You've been erased. Arnold Schwarzenegger erased you. Really? Where was Arnold Schwarzenegger? I saw on YouTube that Schwarzenegger makes an appearance on the rebooted 2.5 Men that I quit after the first pilot episode of the reboot after Charlie's funeral. I said, no, hell no. It's bad enough that you're trying to keep it going by putting Ashton Kutcher, whatever his name is. But to have him buck naked in the show? Oh, hell no. This is a guy's show. Hello, Babe Watch. And now you have naked men in the show? Hell no, this is going in the wrong direction. So I gave up on the rest of this show. And so I find out that Arnold Schwarzenegger does a guest appearance on one of the episodes, apparently. So I don't know, maybe I can go back and watch the rest of it. Just have to make sure that it's a new show rather than a continuation without Charlie, who was murdered by the neighbor. I can't remember her name. I see her face. I see her face. So yeah, in Newburgh, New York, we went tracting one day because Augustine caught on that he's the problem and that he needs to quit whining to the mission president. So we went tracting. That's all you had to do, Mark. And he got revenge on me, and it was part of the 2008 incarceration. I know you did it, Mark. You are not going to Zion. But nobody cares because Zion won't happen because we're still running tests. Nonetheless, I need to owe you a favor though, Mark. Just like my brother. And we go knocking on this one home, and a guy answers the door, and I still see his face right now. And, you know, we're missionaries. Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, wow, yeah, this is your home. Wow, yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll come back in about a week. Okay, thanks for the Book of Mormon. And we come back in a week, knock on the door, and a different guy answers. Oh, who are you? I'm the owner of the home. And he takes us inside, and we see how he had gone around to the trash that was taken out, pulls out the furnishings, and does remodeling of the furnishings, and either has them in his home or he tries to sell them to make money. And so we told him that there was a different guy when we showed up the previous time. And so Mark wanted to go and report him to the police. They told us to come in, and I didn't have confidence in my associative memory abilities. That was still brand new. And yet I still could have, because it was just going through the photo album of people who had been previously arrested, and Mark did find him in the photos. But yeah, I still remember him, the little lock of white hair. But nonetheless, anyway, where were we? End of the world being delayed because the church sucks. Failures. Let's see. Yeah, this was also interesting. 2025 hurricane season is ending. But, wait for it. We had severe tornadoes on American land, but no land of hurricanes. Caribbean, yeah. Caribbean. I don't care about the pronunciation. I saw a video of that. What was it? Naked Gun 2025? No, it had to have been a YouTube video. Yeah, it was a late night comedy talking about, is it Caribbean or Caribbean? That's right. Was it Seth Meyers? Can't remember. Regardless. And so, yeah, they were amazed that there were no landfalls of hurricanes for 2025. But if you paid attention to the news all this year, other places got slammed with Category 5s. Remember Tesla? Remember the original guy? Anybody know of the conspiracy of the weather machine? I do. Everybody else has forgotten, apparently. And everybody forgot about Trump in his first term talking about it. Yeah. When you purposely cause weather changes, There will be consequences. The 68 version of the time machine? Or was it 60? Then Fahrenheit 451 was 68 or 60. Whatever it was. He talks about how mankind, with their wars, resulted in Mother Nature angrily responding, causing the volcano that he barely escaped. Barely escaped. Because it's so true. No, Einstein's a dumbass. Scully did a whole paper on how he's a dumbass. She rewrote him. Fox was impressive. Fox was impressed. And he is. But nobody's smart enough to know how he's a dumbass. You're not using logical Socratic methodology and theory development to run scientific tests for confirmation. You're just trusting whatever he did and assuming he's true. And then, yeah, great shows of sci-fi emerged, but you got Christians trying to claim, oh, he believes that there's God. Our church is true. If you're that desperate to prove your church is true, you're not. You can't just do it logically. Socratic methodology and theory development for confirmation of fact. Because you've never understood your Bible, which is also in 3rd Nephi chapter 14. Keep reading past beam and mote. The projection of false accusers. So yes, the severe storms did happen because of the heating up of the waters. That's why we didn't get hit in America yet. The heating up of the earth has resulted in change in climate. And yes, it has gotten more extreme, just not in the way that they projected with AI. Probably. Dumbasses. When they're running their computer simulations, that's what it is. A projection. Because the weather here in Utah, in case you didn't know, is subject to the mountain range in California. That when the Pacific storm crashes into the mountains, it then goes over the mountains weaker. And so then it has to build up again before it hits Utah. So there's a 2-hour delay for that weather system. When the previous weather predictions were wrong, it was always because of the 2-hour delay. The Salt Lake Valley is also subjected to an alternate weather pattern due to the lake effect. So this produces extra rain during rainy seasons, but also produces extra snow during snow seasons. And is why Utah used to be the greatest snow on earth. Notice how we no longer say that? Yeah, we don't have snow in our mountains. Brian Head, I think, being the first to open. That's all fake snow that they've been making. Making fake snow to open up, to get business. As the Great Salt Lake dried up during the first test run, when I parted the waters for Mormons to pass through on dry ground so that we can go to Zion and live happily ever after. Oh, a test run, huh? I parted the waters and you were doing a test run? Bleep you, Oaks. Nonetheless, these things must be factored in. And AI programming of projection is not getting programmed correctly. That's why it sucks worse than the weather girls who are now getting replaced by AI. So yes, I am a person who's well educated on the weather around the world. That's why every Friday, tomorrow, I will again be checking the world weather for the projected week. I saw the floods in Texas before they happened. All this year, I saw the storms happen before they happened. Even over in the Philippines and in Asia, I saw them all before they happened. I've been paying attention to this. I used to do warning videos, and I got so many hate comments and death threats and thumbs downs. Nobody cares to be prepared. We can handle it. And you're dead, aren't you? Or is it just ghost subscribers, YouTube? Is it just ghost subscribers? So AI is causing delusions in people who believe it. Again, the scriptures make it very clear how to judge the words of another person. AI is just words. ChatGPT, it's words. You're supposed to judge the words for confirmation, whether true or false. You're not just supposed to believe what anybody tells you, like that dumbass commenter. I trust Google over a rock and a hat. Joseph didn't use a rock and a hat. He was tricking Martin Harris, who was the money man, to pay for the Book of Mormon. He insisted on being a part of the project, and so Daddy had Junior babysit him. He knew about Joseph and the rock and a hat that he found in the well that he dug for him. He's a kid. It's what they do. And so he assumed the translation was by the rock and a hat. He didn't know there was a cloth placed between them so that Martin Harris wouldn't see it. And it's Martin Harris who recorded in his journal that Joseph Smith used a rock and a hat. And the September 6th found that document. After Mark Hoffman said Martin Harris talked about a salamander that talked to Joseph about Junior being the head of the church. But Junior died. And they were chased out of Harmony, north of Pittsburgh. My 3-hour video the other day. And the guy didn't give a damn. He didn't want to know the truth. He believes Google hearsay rather than hearsay about Martin Harris saying it was a rock and a hat. When the second vision makes it very clear, it's York Rite Knights Templar Freemasonry. Joseph encoded it for ya, and I decoded it for ya in a pretty picture. And Mormons don't believe. It's gotta be literal history. Literal history. So, the Christmas devotional on the 7th is coming up, and they still haven't assigned anybody to speak. That should tell you something. See, D. Todd would be the most likely to survive in the coming week to give the first presidency statement. But if Oakes dies, there's no first presidency. So it can't be a first presidency Christmas devotional, now can it? Because we have to wait for a new first presidency to be called. And so if it's Holland as the president of the Quorum of the 12, assuming he's still alive, that's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it. Do I have space? I don't have space on these papers. Xmas devotional. First presidency. Cancelled. Death of first presidency. So yes, if Oakes dies, there's no more first presidency. And we got apostolic interregnum going on. Again. We do have one more about D. Todd. Well, I'll try to incorporate it here. And so both Irene and D. Todd go back into the apostleship rank. Holland is now the president of the Quorum of the 12. Well, it's the first presidency Christmas devotional. There's no first presidency in this case, hypothetically. Oakes is dead. And so you can't have a member of the Quorum of the 12, even if it's Holland, as the president of the Quorum of the 12, and claim it's a first presidency devotional. Are Mormons really that stupid? And so they'd have to change the name for that devotional, or cancel it, or have no speakers from the first presidency, and just have a musical performance or something like that. It'd have to be a Quorum of the 12 Apostles Christmas devotional, but it's already advertised as a first presidency devotional, and there's no speaker announced. Previously, I checked, they had the speaker announced as who was going to speak from the first presidency. And even the other speakers were known. Not this time. Can't you just rely on the healing power of gratitude? Trust in the Lord? Let God prevail? Chief cornerstone of the cornerstone? Yoke yourself to Jesus? So pay attention to that. Still, also for next year, all of the young adult devotionals that they are now resuming does not have assigned speakers yet either. Consequences. You shouldn't have run a test run in 2020. because failure is being compounded by failure. So pay attention to that. And then finally, only KSL and ABC4 News, Utah, covered the Wade Christofferson scandal. And they did it late. And they did only one video clip on YouTube. That was it. That was all. The others, KUTV2, Fox 13, zip. I haven't even seen Salt Lake Tribune do anything about it. That is shocking. See, for ABC4 News Utah, they're only going against the church, per se, pushing the boundaries, because of 2025. It was weird, as I noticed that Utah News was trying to be pro-Trump, covering Trump news that Trump already covered in his YouTube channel until I exposed them doing that, and then they gave up. For the most part. When you overdo it, you expose yourself. Right, Cox? We got him! We got him! He's a furry! He's a furry! We got him! He wasn't paying tithing! He was going to school to get a job to help build houses in the electric field. So you use a roommate against him? Where is the roommate, by the way? He's gone into hiding, hasn't he? How convenient. How coincidental. Oh, God. This furry roommate secretly goes missing for his protection because there's so many people trying to murder him. Really? For what? Having the evidence that Tyler didn't do it? And after that one video, sure enough, as expected, boom, silence. And here we are, the Thanksgiving long weekend. Did you forget already that Wade Christofferson, brother of D. Todd Christofferson, is a child sex offender? 20 counts. Did you forget? They want you to forget. And that's how it's done in the state of Utah. Did you forget the church is the terrorist of mankind? They want you to forget.